Good afternoon, students. Welcome again back to the online session of SST. If you remember, last time we had started with industries. So we had seen what is industries. It comes under the secondary sector. Also, we had seen the classification of industries. First was on the basis of raw material, where we had seen it is either agro based, or it is mineral based, or it is marine based, or it is forest based. Then we had seen, depending on the size, we can classify industries into two, that is small scale industries and large scale industries. Fine. Now the third kind of thing, we can classify industries also on the basis of ownership. Now what are these classification, or what is the classification of that? First one we'll see is the private sector. As the name suggests, private means it is a private property. It is either owned and operated by a single individual or a group of individuals. So we can see here, private sector industries are owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. For example, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Indian Oil Corporation, these are private owned industries, right? So if I have a small industry, maybe I individual will be the owner of that. But in case I have 3-4 partners with me, it will be a group of individuals. So any single individual or a group of individuals, when they own and operate an industry, it is called as private sector industry. Now, what can be the other form of industry? We call it public sector industry, which is generally taken by the government. Public sector industries are owned and operated by the government. For example, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, it is called also HAL, where they make all these aeroplane parts and all these things. Steel Authority of India Limited, it is a marketing agency for the iron and steel industries. So these are all owned by the government. Now the question comes, if private sector is there, why should government go into this? Because what happens, private sector industries, they are businessmen and they look for the profit. They will never look for the country's development or well-being of the people. So for this we have public sector industries. Other than this, what happens sometimes government and some individuals, they have to come together and make certain industries. Like you can say Maruti Suzuki was there. So in that case, it is called joint sector industries. And what is this? These are owned and operated by the state and individuals or a group of individuals. So when public sector and private sector comes together, it is called as joint sector industries. Example is Maruti. Fine. Because what happened, where there were very few car companies like Fiat, Ambassador at that time. So to get some modern cars and to get new technologies into India, what they did, the government supported, and Maruti was a company. They came together and they formed Maruti Udyog Limited. Fine. And the last one, very important, that is cooperative sector. Many people get confused here. This is neither a private sector nor a public, nor it's a joint. It is a kind of industry where it is owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw material. The best examples of these are milk or dairy, we can say dairy industry and sugar industry. These are very good examples where the producers, those who produce sugarcane or those who produce milk, or suppliers like those who supply the sugarcane or those who supply the milk, they own and operate this kind of industries. It is called as cooperative sector industries. So for example, Anand Milk Union Limited, Anand Milk is in Gujarat. So the name of the place also is Anand. It's a place, Anand. So there is a milk industry, dairy products actually. So they are doing it cooperative. It comes under cooperative sector. Sudha Dairy. Initially, India, most of the industries were under public sector, but with passage of time, privatization was done at extensive level. So when we got independence, the major focus was towards the economic development. For this industrial sector was very important. So what the government did, government started their own production and they started public sector. But later on, when they understood that other players were also interested or other individuals were also interested, they started to privatize these things. So this is all about the ownership, the classification of industries on the basis of ownership. Now going ahead, industries are not everywhere, because I belong to a rural place, I don't have any industry nearby. Or maybe you can see, if any one of you belongs to a rural place, or if you go to your village, you will not find any industries. So why does it happen? Why industries are in urban places rather than rural places? Because there are certain factors which are very important in that terms. So now we'll see what are the factors which affect the location of industries, or where are the industries located. Now the first thing which comes in your mind, if I want to make if I want to establish an industry, the first thing which I'll require will be the raw material. Because if I want to produce sugar, I need sugarcane as my raw material. If I want to produce iron and steel, I want iron ore as my raw material. So I will place, or I will establish my industry in a place where I can easily find the raw material. That's one of the factor. Second, in the industry, I require labor, because if labor is cheap, then my profit will go high. So I'll see a place which is little bit backward and I can get cheap labor there. Then I'll see water resources, how water is there. Then I'll see transport, whether I can easily transport my finished goods to the market. I will see market should be nearby. I'm trying to understand. Like if for example, if I say, if I want to make sugar in Jammu and Kashmir, it is very difficult for me, because most of the sugar cane which is produced is in southern Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and these places. So to take raw materials from these places to Jammu and Kashmir will be very costly, very expensive. So generally this industry will be near the where we can get the raw materials, where they can get cheap labor, where they can get power, where they can get market nearby, where they can get transport. So all these factors comes together, and then the location is finalized for placing an industry. We'll see it very quickly. Very simple topic this is. So the availability of raw material, as we discussed: land, water, labor, power means electricity, capital, that means money. Now how we can get capital from a particular place? So the bank system, or the cheap interest rate, all these things comes into it. Transport, to transport my finished goods to the market, and market, of course. These are the factors, and the factors which affect the location of an industry. If these all factors are available to me, I can open an industry there. So these factors are very important for the location of industry. Now, as I said earlier, that most of the industries are in urban areas. It is not an exact statement. It is not true actually. Because what happens, where industry is located, there people will come, they will establish there, and they'll get more facilities, so it get urbanized. So what happens? Industrialization leads to development and growth of towns and cities. So naturally, if I'm in a rural place, if the industry opens, for example, iron and steel industry, so many engineers will come, many managers will come, they'll stay there because they are here. So many banks will come, many facilities will come. So this place will get urbanized, it will get developed, it will turn into a town or city. Okay, understood? Before setting up an industry, what they do, they make a proper assessment of all these factors like raw material, these things. It is done by an authority. They send a group of people, they will survey there. They'll make a survey whether raw materials are available, cheap labor is available, power is there or not, land is available or not, how much far is the market, what are the transport facilities, roadways, maybe waterways, how we can transport it. So all these surveys are done. So before setting up any industry, proper assessment means a kind of survey. They will assess that area is done by the authorities, and then it is permitted, and then only they go ahead with this. Now because of this, what happens, whenever there is an industry set up, today we are facing a problem of global warming. Because of industries, a lot of pollution is there, and too much fast industries are developing, and we are also facing the problem of pollution. It is also growing in a fast rate. So we need to pay attention towards this factor also for locating the industries. So in this era means this period, when global warming is occurring at faster pace, much attention is to be given to the environment aspect. We should take care that the environment should not be degraded. Okay. So to conclude this, we can see a picture here. Now we can see here. So what are the important factors? Raw material, the most important factor. Labor is available or not. Power supply is there, because maybe labor is available but we don't have electricity there. Then how can we run the machines? Land is there or not, because for industry we require big land. So whether land is there or not. Then capital, whether I can arrange capital, I can get loan from banks, some good banks are there or not. Transport, if I produce some goods, we had seen that the final value is more. If you produce the good, whether I can transport from my industry to the market, to the shops, can I transport it? If there are no good roads, how could you transport? So we require that also. And market should be nearby. Like suppose if I am doing here and market is thousands of miles away, then it will be very costly for me to transport my good from my place to that market. So market should be available nearby. So all these factors are important. Now I'll quickly go to one more thing that we call as the process of industry. Now what is the process? Process is generally, you can see here, the availability of raw material, power, all these things. Now okay, we'll go to the next point. Yeah, okay, this I think this is getting repeated. Fine, no problem. Okay, yeah, we came here. Fine. So what is it? First is input. Your raw materials will come in the input. What are there in the input? Raw material which is going to be processed, labor, those who will work for that process, machines, tools, all these things, power, all these things will be the input. So it is given here. Physical inputs, that is timber, maybe they're using wood, iron ore, they are the examples. Raw material, I mean to say. Then the human resource, that is labor. Then economic inputs, that is labor and capital. All these things come under this. Now after this there are processes. Because we'll take an example. Chalo. So we can see here input will be sugar cane. Then we'll have labor, we'll have capital, we'll have power. All these things are inputs. Then it will get processed. After process we get the final output, that is sugar. Right? So there will be raw material and there will be a final product or finished product. So input, process, output. Now this output, it will go to sell. They'll sell it, they'll earn some profit, and that profit will again come into here, because again they have to purchase raw material, they have to give the electricity bills, they have to pay for the wages of laborers. So all this will get reinvested. Again the process will go on, and maybe after some time what will happen, the profits will be more and they can save something and they can use it for their own use. So that we can say as a profit. So this is nothing but this is all about your processes. We call it industrial process. Clear? So what it is now, we'll just go very briefly. An industrial system, this is industrial system, consists of inputs, process, outputs. That is raw material, we'll process it and make a finished good. Raw materials, labor and cost of land, transport, power, other infrastructure are the inputs, because we have to pay for this. We are putting the efforts of this. The process includes wide range of activities. It converts the raw material into finished product. Why wide range of activities? Because if you go for iron and steel, there are so many steps, so many processes, wide range of processes. In case of cotton textile, from cotton fiber to making a fabric or a ready-made shirt, it takes a lot of process. So there are various activities are there. The result or the output are the end products of income earned from it. Okay, and finally I would say that industrial setup also depends on the political will. So maybe there are many states where they don't want there are many states which want development of their industries. They reduce the taxes from them. So more industry will be growing there. So the basic thing when we talk about political will come about taxes and permissions. Understood? I hope you understood this. Thank you. Have a nice day. Now in next thing we'll go with our certain industrial regions are there, how they develop, and about iron and steel industry and cotton industry. Thank you. Have a nice day.